Welcome to the Small Town Creepy Podcast. This is Dex, your guide to all things horror, and tonight I am interviewing Kayli Scholz, the author of Saint Grit. Kayli, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everybody. First of all, thank you for having me, Dex. My name is Kayli Scholz. I'm a horror writer from Florida. Saint Grit is my debut novel released from Ghoulish Books last week on November 14th. Saint Grit is about a young woman named Nadine Boone that conjures a witch to grow inside of her over 3 decades. And we follow Nadine in her life and the havoc that she casts over a small town called Sugar Bends in Florida.
I love it. Got the honor of getting an arc of Saint Grit and reading it, and it was fabulous. I was so
Oh,
excited to read
thank you
it,
so
and
much.
then as soon as I got done reading, I was like, I gotta see if she'll be on the show.
That's so cool. Thank you.
Okay, you explained what Saint Grit is about, and I was, hmm, this book is so different than almost any other horror novel I've read.
Mm,
Why would you consider it folk horror? I would almost consider it folk horror because it's like the
yeah.
small town. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't like too off base with it.
Oh no, not
Why?
at all. If anything, you're right on the mark. I definitely consider it uh, partly folk horror. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Why did you decide to do folk horror as your debut novel? Because I mean, like, it's one of my favorite subgenres, so I definitely don't
Cool.
judge you for that decision. But I was just wondering, like, what made you think like this is it?
Um, that's a good question. You know what? I wrote Saint Grit, the first version of it, about almost 10 years ago, and I've written other books in between working on various drops of Saint Grit. So it sort of um, like it really wasn't my intention to have it be like a folk horror. This is going to be the first one. It just sort of happened that way. I think when I first wrote it, it was more of a like supernatural detective story
Mm.
a long time ago, and it's changed so much, and I think that I think it just organically became folk horror, and it ended up being my first book that came out. But yeah, it's one of my favorite genres too, and
It's awesome. Yeah, definitely in my top fave subgenres. I
yeah,
loved Nadine. I mean, as
uh,
much as you can love a villain, a monster,
yeah,
the choice
yeah,
to have not only a woman villain, but a highly feminized, like, she's not a monster in she's a woman, she's a witch.
yeah,
Um, that was so, like, I can't imagine the story any other way
right, yeah.
because it's so tied in together. But like, why that choice? Why making Nadine not only the villain, but she's the main character?
Yeah. I always wanted to write a story where we are in the eyes of the monster, so to say, or the killer or the antagonist, whatever it is, and just not having a lot of um, not having a reason behind, almost like a psychopath, you could say, or
Hmm.
sociopath of sorts, but just not having a lot of real grounding behind that. Like just that this woman, she's a witch. This is who she is. This is, you know, this is pure evil. If there is evil, she is pure evil. And just, I don't know. I always wanted to write a character like that. And I don't know. It was really fun. It was really fun.
Love that she was like that because we get so many, especially in movies, like books definitely, but
Sure.
especially in movies, we get a ton of male villains who don't have a reason. You know, we get Michael Myers, who's
Exactly.
just, especially in the original Halloween, the original, go to, because, things changed when they decided to make a sequel, but he was just supposed to just be evil, like not have a
Right.
story, not have reason, not none of that. He's just evil.
Sure.
And we don't get that with a lot of female, like even like whenever we have female villains, they usually have a reason of why they're evil. We get
Right.
American Mary, who's a revenge story. We get, you know,
Sure.
um, Jason's mom, who, it's a revenge story. And we don't get
Yeah.
a lot of just pure evil with women. I love that you chose to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like you said, I mean, I love getting that perspective from a woman's side of things, even the most vile, barbaric woman you can imagine, and just what is that like to be in that person's head? And yeah, I like seeing the lens of that um through a woman, over another Michael Myers, so to say. So
Hmm. And she's very smart. And just because she's evil doesn't mean that she's a very intelligent
yeah.
villain and character and person, which makes it even harder to read almost because you're just like, okay, if it wasn't for the murder,
Yeah. Right, right. Yeah.
yeah, I got to draw my line somewhere, but I still like Nadine.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So not only, the main character and all that stuff, but this, like you said, this took place over 3 decades. That's a long timeline for a novel in general, especially one of this length.
Yeah.
Um, is there a reason why you didn't want to make it like, because she starts out a teenager, like
Yeah.
it? I mean, other than, and not spoilers, I don't want to like bring spoilers into the story. She obviously has the later sacrifices and stuff, but why? Why make her like? Why bring it over such a long timeline?
Um, I I wanted to see what it would be like for this character. Um, and by now, like the fourth or fifth draft, I wanted to know what it was like to be in this vile woman's head over such a long period of time. It's like, yeah, it starts that she's 16 years old in the late 1970s and goes into the mid 90s in her 30s. And it's like you see her through uh, kind of like the nuclear family life, so to say, like with the she meets, you see her going to school, she's going to work, she's meeting who will be the father of her children, she has children that she has no love for, just all of the like the very standard uh, nuclear things to happen in um, this woman's life, and just like what happens when you are purely evil, like where do you go from there with that in your back pocket?
I love it. I think the whole time I'm reading it, every time there's like a new chapter or a new section, I'm just like, how much worse is this gonna get? But also like, oh boy, how much worse is this gonna get? It's both very hard to stop reading, but also there's moments where, especially when it comes to the very few times we get a viewpoint other than Nadine's, it's
Right.
very hard to read. It's
Yeah.
very brutal. You did a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. That was fun to write. Thank you.
Yeah. Is there a reason, or I understand why you chose Nadine as the main character and why we're seeing it through her eyes, which I loved. Is there a reason why we didn't really get a main hero or heroine out of this? Like
Um,
it's just her and her victims, really.
yeah. Honestly, I just wanted to play with this unhinged character,
Hmm.
just straight up, without any other, you know, interference from people with a head on their shoulders, or I mean, we see a little bit of that with when her husband Elliot is on this farm with the old witch. We see that a little
Yeah.
bit, and the torture that he's enduring. Um, in earlier versions of the book, there was a lot more with her daughters and their
Mm.
perspective of having a mother like this, and so instead of it's not really their point of view, but Nadine in the final version of Saint Grit, we have Nadine like she knows that her oldest daughter knows something, that she's something more than just a bitch, for lack of a better word. She's
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. I think that's great. I'm glad it doesn't have the foil of the heroine in a lot of ways, because it does help us just to focus on Nadine and just how bizarre and down the rabbit hole can we go with this character.
Yeah.
Before I ask, I have another like big question, but before we ask that, I want to ask, what were your horror inspirations for Saint Grit? Like, what
That's
movies or stories or folklore or whatever really brought you into this story?
that's a great question. I would say one of George Romero's first films, Season of the Witch.
Mm,
Um, Definitely an inspiration. Some of Bava's uh, 1970s films, the very like dramatic, stylistic films, colorful films of his. Oh my gosh. I also, as far as film, it would have been those. And then for books, I had read a book by Alex Marr, who's a journalist. She had written a book called Witches in America, and she had interviewed a solitary witch in Southern California. And this this solitary witch that she interviewed had felt that when she became of age, she had powers within her, and like this primitive sexual power, and almost
mhm.
like a version of magical thinking in a way. And yeah, just that whole, like, there was several of the chapters about that particular interview she did was like, ooh, what if I use that for evil? Like, what if bring that into something? So that's
Mhm.
definitely a part of it too.
Yeah, I love it. When I was reading it, some of the first things I thought of was like Argento's Three Mothers trilogy or Mothers
Oh
trilogy.
yeah,
Just those, the witches and the sacrifices and stuff like that through that, and just how and it's probably the cover too, just visualizing everything with a red
with
cast.
the red, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And then, just I love the dark folklore about witches and witchcraft. And I say this as a practicing witch and pagan, like I still
Okay,
love the
yes,
dark folklore about witches. Um,
sure.
and I loved seeing that in here. I loved, and I mentioned this in my review, but I really loved your inclusion and use of and I'm probably going to pronounce the name of the tree wrong because I've only read it, but the machineel?
Yeah, that's very close. Manchineel. It's okay.
Mansion.
I mispronounced it myself 5 million times. Oh, I
Um,
finally got it.
no, it's fine. I was like, I'm reading it. I'm like, well, I've not heard it pronounced, so I'm just going to go for it. Um,
Yeah,
but the inclusion of I had never heard of that tree before.
yeah.
And
Aren't they fascinating?
yeah, oh my gosh, I fell down the rabbit hole and I was just reading on and on and on about them. And I was just like, this is
I love
fabulous.
it. Yeah, oh my God, they're fascinating. I mean, just a a burning tree for it's crazy. It's I just can't believe they exist.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like something out of like a fantasy game or something. I'd almost expect
Right,
to run into something
exactly.
awful like this in like D&D or something. I would not expect something
Right,
like this to be
right.
real. But when you were describing it, I was thinking about how this is so similar to a lot of the folklore connecting witches with like Datura, you
Oh,
know?
right. Yes. Mandrake, Datura. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I love this new new to me, obviously, not new plant, you didn't, like, invent the plant.
I know what you
Did you
mean.
hear that? Did you hear about Kayli coming up with a whole new plant for her book?
Man, I'm good.
I love it. I got the giggles now, no, okay. Um, but this unique plant and tying it into, like, witches and witchcraft, I love it. Have you grown up around these trees or experienced,
I I primarily grew up in the South. I have grown up around Datura a little bit, but
Mhm.
not Mancunials by any stretch of the imagination. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, your basic like poisonous, um, plants and stuff, the Datura roots and all of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Love it. Yeah, I was so sucked in about these trees, and yeah, I was like, I can't imagine living near one. That would be
Oh
terrifying.
my God, it'd be terrifying. If it rains, you're screwed.
Yep, yep. Don't want nothing to do with that one. I love
Yeah,
plants, but I think I'm good
right.
being far away from that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So this being your debut novel, what made you want to write horror? Like why horror?
I've been consuming horror since I was about 5 years old. My mother read to me aloud when I was 5 years old from Stephen King's Night Shift,
Oh
a
my gosh.
collection of short stories. I think, if I'm not mistaken, she read me. I want to say this now. Of course, the name escapes me. I think it was called Graveyard Shift. One of
Mhm.
one of his short stories about the rats in a or whatever it was. And I've been consuming horror since then. I love, um, you know, Poltergeist and the old Universal monster films. And, I started out reading like Goosebumps, like so many of us did. And,
Mhm.
just, it's just an art form that I have followed over the years. And it was kind of exciting because there was a time period in my life where I fell out of love with horror in my early 20s. And I thought it would make me a better writer and reader and a stronger person to take a break from horror and start consuming more at the time. I said more adult fiction or whatever,
Mhm.
adult genre. And I took about 12 years off writing horror and then went back to it in my very late 20s, early 30s. And yeah, it's just, I can't imagine ever writing outside of that, really. Um, I love it. I love it so much. I love it.
Oh, I agree. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's my favorite. So I do find that a lot of us, especially people I interview or people I talk to, it really did start young for us.
Right? And you too, it sounds like.
Mhm.
You
Oh yeah.
also?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I was not censored as a child, which I don't recommend. Now that I'm a parent, I'm like, oh no, what
Oh,
were
yeah.
they thinking?
Right.
Um, but I have very strong visceral memories of seeing it when I was
Mm,
very little and seeing Poltergeist and seeing, just so many Terminator and so many
right.
movies. As a very young kid, I have a picture somewhere floating around of me on my 6th Christmas getting RoboCop and Terminator box sets.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God. That's
Because
great.
that's what I asked Santa for. I was determined
Oh
that I didn't want
my
dolls, I didn't
God.
want toys, I wanted
Yeah,
RoboCop and Terminator. Um, and, like,
I
looking
love
back
that.
now that I have an 8-year-old, no, he has not seen those. No.
Oh, I love
What were they thinking? No wonder I
it.
had, like,
Right.
nightmares and anxiety and oh, yeah.
Right. what you were consuming on the TV. It was
Oh, constantly,
freaking out your
constantly.
psyche.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, terrified of closet and under the bed and any
under the bed.
shadow, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
shadow
yeah,
on the wall. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
no.
terrible, terrible stuff. But so, so many of us are starting at like a young age of like consuming this, and it's making up so much of our joy now as adults.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. It's such a big part of my life and yours too. For that,
Oh yeah.
obviously,
I
it's a great.
joke saying that I had to start Small Town Creepy because I could only inflict my love of horror on my loved ones so much before they were
I
done with
love this. This is great.
like,
That is
yes,
a smart thing to do.
yes, honey, I know you love the ninth gate. We don't have to talk about it all the time.
You have to talk
Um,
to the people that get it. That's what it's all about.
oh yeah, yeah. I had to go find my people.
Right, exactly, exactly.
All right. So my biggest question about your book: are we gonna get more of Nadine or Saint Grit in future books?
Um, that's a really good question, and I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm not sure. I
If I can
have,
twist your arm, I would
yeah,
love.
yes, that's cool. I think there's a possibility I could write a sequel to Singrid. I think, I think that there's a possibility because after I finish anything, I really miss writing it. That particular story, that mood, those characters, that whole like I miss it. So I could see myself returning to that at some point. Yeah.
I keep thinking about like how it ended, and I'm like, man, I
Mhm.
would love if not something that focused entirely on Nadine, maybe something in that world.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
or talking about that weird haunted house, maybe, or I don't know.
Yeah. Something with
I'm
the
over here
house that
like,
yeah.
what do I got to do to get started?
I
Scooting,
love it.
scooting an envelope across the table. Like,
Take this. I love it. I think there's a big possibility I could end up doing that. It's funny, I'm writing, I have other books coming out over the next like 3 years, and they all take place in Sugar Bend, the same
oh,
town.
I'm so excited. Well, that's what my next question is like what's coming up? What do our your fans? What do we need to expect coming up? Because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's ravenous for more sugar bins and your writing.
Uh, yeah. What do I have? Oh, what do I have coming out? I have to think. Black Rain Season is my second novel, which comes out late fall next year. It's a serial killer story about a same town, Sugar Bend's clairvoyant, uh, about a clairvoyant teenage girl and a gay crime scene cleanup technician, and they sort of work together with other members of the town to try and solve who the hillbilly hammer is. I have a short story coming out in a horror anthology called The Intruder Theory, which is still a year away. And then 2 years from now, I have a book called Yeehaw Junction, which is about um, a family of, I don't even know how to describe this yet. It's like a family of miscreants um, trying to find this girl that goes missing. And again, it takes place in Florida. And I just finished a book on extraterrestrials. So
Wow. Wait,
yeah,
okay. So extraterrestrial. That's just it's triggered my interest because it's different than everything. Like one of these things is not like the other.
right.
So why extraterrestrials?
If at the risk of nerding out on this show, I
Nerd
am.
out. You are welcome. This is a safe space.
Thank God. Um, I have always, from the time I was a young child, wanted to write a novel about aliens coming to Earth. Now, I'm not a sci fi person, but I shouldn't say I love sci-fi. I don't write sci-fi. Let me
Hmm.
rephrase that. But I don't know. I've always been fascinated by uh, UFO sightings and extraterrestrials and just the history around the people that have been hunting for them for X amount of years. And um, yeah, so this it's called The Midnight Zone, and hopefully it'll be published in the coming years.
Love it. I love UFO and all that. It's interesting right now because there's a lot of talk about it, of course, right now about
Right, yeah.
exposure and which I I dipped my toes in that community very briefly, only to find that unfortunately
Um,
it's very they got their problems. Not like every community has their problems, but they really got their problems.
yeah, they do.
Um,
Oh, they do indeed. Just like you, I went in 20, when was it? Last year, 2022. Went deep into that community for research purposes. I'm like, oh wow, this is wild here.
yeah. Y'all are not okay. Y'all need, a
Exactly,
cookie
not
or
okay. Yeah,
something.
exactly.
If you ever get your toes back in there, I highly recommend Erica Lukes. She has a podcast.
Ooh,
And she
oh,
not only talks about UFOs and UAPs and, all that fun stuff, but she calls out a lot of people in the community for everything
okay.
from misogyny and racism to conning people who are, actual victims of abduction and stuff like that. She's
Okay.
awesome. She is she's pretty amazing. I'm a big fan of
What's her
hers.
name?
Erica
Erica.
Lukes,
Okay.
Lukes.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
she's
look her up.
fabulous.
Oh,
She's very
interesting.
sassy and she's very blunt and I aspire, like I want to be her when I grow
Cool.
up.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
Um,
I will definitely look her up. That's
her
interesting.
big thing that learned about her in as far as her work goes is calling out the Skinwalker Ranch stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a
And
whole rabbit
yeah,
hole. Oh, no, oh my gosh.
yeah, she's calling out some people out there, which is, of course, making people upset, but for good reason.
Well, for good reason. I was gonna say. Well,
Uh,
for good reason.
well, anytime there's a big tourist trap of a
Yeah.
situation that's making much money, and it turns out the owner is on the board of tourism for the state,
Right. Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
yeah, it's questionable, and she's calling it out, and I love it. So,
Yeah.
highly recommend. Um,
Awesome. Awesome.
but anyway, going back to your other work, uh, why sugar bins?
Um, I called it sugar bends because sugar cane is our biggest crop in Florida. And the first book that I had written that took place in sugar bends was Black Rain Season. And that has a lot of the sugarcane fields, the burnings that happen there, the controlled burnings that happen
Yeah,
there. And now it's a fictional place. I did base some of it off of a town outside of where I grew up, on the Alabama-Florida state line outside Blunsville, or I'm sorry, Bluntstown, Bluntstown, Florida. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it with that.
it's so interesting to have folk horror in Florida. Like that, when we usually think of folk horror, we're usually thinking of, northern vibe, almost like Pacific Northwest or Northern Europe.
Right.
So, I mean, you're from that region, so that's why you chose
Yeah.
to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've lived here about a half of my life. And it's such a most of Florida it's I mean, yes, we have our beaches, but it most of it is a swamp and
Mm.
most of it is farm country. And there's a lot of rural places here. with a lot of interesting, fascinating history and well, it's spooky to say the least.
Yeah, yeah.
So I love reading about the South, um, and I love writing about the South, and I think I'm going to continue to do that.
Great. So, in regards to sugar bins, I had gathered from St. Grit that perhaps a lot of the weird that was going on there was Nadine, but since you're having other storylines there, is that not the case? Is it just Sugar Ben's is weird and perhaps she contracted that weirdness?
I love this. I love that you're gathering all this. This is awesome. I
And
yeah,
feel free to be
the
like, tell me no, and then spoilers. Like, feel free to be like,
um,
no, and it's fine.
oh, it's fine. No, no, it's okay. It's I yeah, the town has a lot of history in it, and that gets unraveled through several books. The stories themselves, like the plots of the books, are not related, but the town history is related. And the so yeah, I go deep into that in Black Rain season. So yeah, the town is a dark place, for lack of a better word, haunted, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
The town has a lot of dark history, and so you could say that Nadine uh, was like this witch that she conjured inside of her. She's in this town where this dark space is already here. So you put her in a dark space, and shit's gonna get fucked up. So
Yeah, yeah. So what you're saying is don't drink the water, but also maybe don't bang a random witch that you meet there either.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Caution.
Noted. The Sugar Bins tour guide. Here's your warnings.
Exactly.
Love it.
I love it.
That can be your story Bible whenever you get all of your books out. Be like, all right, so here's the Sugar Bins tour
I
guide for
need,
my books.
right. I
Don't
need to print a pamphlet or something and have all
yes.
the map
Yes.
and do's
Well,
and
it's like
don'ts.
I mean, that's essentially what they did with, like, some of Stephen King's work in Maine, is, like,
Right.
here's, like, the Maine of Stephen King that doesn't really exist, but, just be careful. Don't drink the water.
Yeah. Don't drink the water. Don't look at anybody. Just stay
Don't
to yourself.
just in fact, maybe just don't go.
Don't even go. Just don't even go.
You don't need to go that badly.
That's right. That's right.
Alright, so, was there anything else that you wanted to discuss or promo? Like, um I know we talked about, like, your upcoming work, but is there anything that you're doing coming up besides putting out amazing books?
Um, well, let's see. Well, I'll be appearing at the Ghoulish Book Festival in San Antonio, Texas, next March 2024, um, which is a really fun event, book and horror event. Um,
Tell us more about, like, what it's like to be with Ghoulish Books, because 'cause they're becoming more and more of a big name,
yeah,
like, even people I know that are just kind of they're more just fans of horror movies and stuff, but even they are starting to hear more about them either because I'm annoying them or because of social media and all that good stuff. So what's that, relationship like?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Max Booth the third and Lori are an amazing team. Um, you know, it's crazy because they've been doing it for such a long time. Like
Mhm.
you know, in like I want to say it was like 2011 that you started to see Max Booth's name come up quite a bit um, in the indie horror community, and just they used to have an old horror magazine that they published, Dark Moon Digest, and
Mhm.
the stories were just interesting. Like they're just, I think they're better than what is on mainstream horror shelves, like the top publishers or whatever. I just think they publish really interesting, diverse fiction that is not afraid to go out of, I don't know, out of the norm, so to say. Like they just publish really interesting shit. And the thing that's cool is they're such fans of the genre themselves. Max is a writer, and
Mhm.
they just opened a bookshop, horror bookstore in Selma, Texas, and it's like that's just really cool. They're fans of the genre. They're such a big part of the community, and yeah, it's been amazing working with them.
Oh, yeah. I I find that I agree in that I enjoy indie horror way more than
Yeah,
the stuff I could probably pick up at the random bookshelf or whatever,
yeah, yeah,
because they can be braver than
yes,
the average big what is it, like, top 5 or even now top
right.
4
Top
publishers are.
four, yeah, right, right,
They don't have to cater to, "Oh my
yeah.
gosh, that's too gory," or, "They went
That's
way too far."
too
Like,
that
no, no, this is what we need. This is what we're here for. Give
right,
it
exactly, exactly. And they're publishing people that would not necessarily be published outside of indie, not because
right.
their writing isn't fucking stellar.
Yeah.
It's like not because of that, but just because of the damn logistics of publishing and algorithms and
Oh, yeah.
everything
Or
else in the world. So
just needing to deal with the very loud I hesitate to even call them fans because
right.
I was talking to a friend of mine about your book as well as one I recently read called Static Screams by, Nico Bell.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes,
And
yes.
I was like, "So we're getting these strong horror novels
Oh
with
yeah,
female leads, not only female
yes,
leads, but female villains." Like, I
yes.
can already hear the quote unquote fanboys now losing their minds.
Yeah,
And, how dare. And
right.
but the fact that these are being put out thanks to, self-publishing and indie publishing and things like that, like, I can't imagine. I'm so happy that we have a world where that's a possibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I well said. I couldn't agree more.
I love it. I'm stoked, and
Yeah.
I loved Saint
It's
Grid.
an exciting oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's an exciting time in the genre. I mean, like I'm
Yes.
not the first person to say this, but it really is like a renaissance,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
in the horror world. It's amazing.
I was just saying no, night before last, I was talking about I have a project, and I'm not gonna get too into it because this is about your book, but I have a project where I was putting together movies by different minority groups for,
Sure.
certain lists. And
Yeah.
I was on one hand, I was bitching and complaining about how hard it is to find, like, Native American directed, written,
Oh
or
yeah.
starred horror movies, or
Right,
Asian
right.
American. Not Korean or Japanese horror movies, but Asian American.
Sure. Specifically, yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, man, this is so hard to find." But the ones we're finding are
Are incredible.
are newer, and
Yeah.
they're more frequent. We are
Yeah.
s It's very
We're
hard to
we're
look at the
steering in the
news.
right direction,
Yes.
hopefully.
It's
Yeah.
very hard to look at the news and feel optimistic,
Oh, it yeah,
but
100%.
it is getting better.
Yeah.
We are
There's gold
seeing it.
yeah. Yeah, there's golden patches in all the dark sides, I guess. Yeah.
Right. I was watching a show with my partner. We're watching Sons of Anarchy. I'm not proud of it, okay?
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
aware that it's a soap opera,
I love this.
but I was pointing out to him,
Mm.
I said, "There's a whole storyline that's pro-abortion in this. That's
Mm. Well,
amazing."
that is and for a show like that,
Prime
I
time.
haven't
Yeah.
seen it, and I mean, I have heard good things about it, but I don't. Looking at
Oh,
it from the outside of someone I've never seen it. I don't know
it's
much about
trash,
it. It
it's
looks
trash.
very
Don't even, just
really
beware. It's a soap opera,
toxic.
it's trash.
Right.
I'm fully aware that I am a garbage human, okay?
Guys, I approve of this. Yeah, there's to know that there is that story in the background. That's pretty cool though to hear.
Yeah. I was like, this would have been unheard of. Absolutely unheard of for mainstream television to have a pro-abortion storyline.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Go back a couple decades and
Yeah. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
no.
Yeah.
Wouldn't.
Monstrous. Monstrous. How dare.
Yeah.
But here we're
100%.
seeing like main characters go to clinics. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
and there's no like there's a discussion of like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, because it is a decision, but support. Like, anyway, I was saying is we are seeing progress. It's very hard to imagine that we're seeing progress.
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
world where we're fighting so hard for it. It's Haley Piper, I think, on Instagram, which love Haley
Yeah.
Piper.
Me too. It's so funny you mentioned her name because I was thinking about her work as you were talking about horror in, just in terms of
Progress. Yeah.
progressive horror. Yeah, I was thinking about her books.
Um, she posted on Instagram something along the lines of, if what we're doing was so futile, and I'm paraphrasing, by the way, if what
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing is futile, they wouldn't make propaganda to fight it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
And
100%.
I try and keep stuff like that in mind, and stuff like, looking back at the progress we have made, and we are still making. We are seeing more minorities in horror and in other genres too. But
Yeah,
my hyperfixation.
yeah, exactly. The horror taking the lead once again,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
that's just so fucking dope. That's great.
And I love it, especially in horror. Where we got movies like Jordan Peele's work
Yes,
and
yes.
Flashback, which is a Native American led cast, etc. created horror movie, or Prey. That's a
Yeah. Oh, pray. Yeah. Yeah.
major franchise in horror. Uh,
Absolutely.
Having minority groups in it, and people want to talk about horror like we are bottom of the barrel.
Yeah,
Genre.
that's so true. It's so true. There's such a weird stigma around the horror genre. I think it's, I don't think it's as bad as it used to be, but it's definitely there. I mean, like I said, I even in my early 20s, I'm like, well, I should give this up. I don't think this
Yeah.
is very good.
Should write real books.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was my attitude.
Well, it's like
Only read and write.
in Little Women with, Josephine March. She's writing horror in that story.
That's right. Oh my
She
God, that's
starts
right.
out, writing horror, and Professor Barron tells her, there's more to you. You should write
Right.
real stories. And I'm like,
Right.
bitch,
Considered so beneath. Yeah, right. Like,
give me more of that gothic literature and let her do her
yeah,
thing. Let her cook,
yeah, that's exactly. You go, Joe. Come on.
Right?
I forgot about that. That's
It's one of the
interesting.
few things that I really can't stand about that story. Like, I enjoy classics like that, but at the same time, I'm like,
Oh, sure.
Joe, you don't need best Professor Bear in your life. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Go find yourself a
Go
nice
find
little
your
hottie
community.
elsewhere, preferably a girl.
Exactly. Yes.
Um,
You do you, Joe. We support you.
I'm just saying, considering what we've learned about Louise May Alcott later on in life, that she wished she was a man. She has
Yes,
whole
right. Yeah.
letters talking about that, and I'm just like, see, we all
Yeah.
knew. I think all of us girlies who watched that and was like, I don't
Yeah.
think Joe was supposed to end up with Professor Bear. All I'm
Nope.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, but progress now.
Yes.
If we had Louise May Alcott, she, first of all, she
Yeah.
might not be she, and second of all, Joe might still
Yeah.
be writing horror with,
Oh yeah. She would have been, if that were today, she would have been encouraged to write
right.
horror, hopefully from her
Or even if not
community that
encouraged,
it.
at least um, there would have been community for it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
'Cause we still have today, people who, um, talk about horror as if it's not, legitimate. I'm just like,
Yeah,
"Okay, look here."
I know. It's yeah. I
Uh,
that is one thing that I hope gets better over time, which I think it will.
oh, yeah,
But you
definitely.
know,
I think so. Or if not, I think that at least, you know, there's so much good being done in the name of horror, so many
yeah,
conversations and things.
absolutely.
It's why I always laugh when people are saying, like, modern horror is woke. Like, have you watched horror? Have you read
Yeah, have
horror?
you? Yes, I I couldn't agree more. Yeah, like
We're
you
looking
have no understanding of the genre, its history, its people. It's yeah,
right. Yeah,
exactly.
look at Night of the Living Dead. They had a black male
They had
lead.
yes, yes,
Like,
100%. That was in the late '60s, I think.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's a big deal. So anytime I
Yeah,
see, again, quote unquote fanboys come up like that, I'm like, you need to calm your tits a little bit and,
yeah,
learn your genre.
right, right, 100%. Yeah.
I could geek out about this all night though. So like
Oh, me too. Oh my God, I'm the same way.
I love it. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get everybody who I bring on to talk about and promote their latest work to see if later they'll come back and geek out about something that they love, like their favorite horror movie or horror book or something like that. So I'll
Oh,
try
oh
and
yeah.
wrangle you to come on and do that at a later date.
Absolutely. I'd love to. Absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, so we will sign off. Where can people find you? Or, I mean, at least online. Let's keep the stalking to the internet
Yeah.
only.
Internet only now. Um, you can, as far as social media goes, I am only on Instagram. I'm
Mhm.
not on anything else. My username on Instagram is Kayli Scholz, and I have a website, kayli-scholz.com. And other than that, that's it. That's the only place I am online. But
Well, it's easy to remember. That's great.
yeah,
And
yeah.
of course,
So
the Ghoulish Books book fair next
yeah,
spring.
yeah. Next spring, the Ghoulish Book Festival, which will be really cool. So many really talented authors and people and
Oh yeah,
podcasts. So it'll be cool.
yeah. All right, thank you so much for joining me and putting your book
Thank
out
you
there
so
in the
much.
world.
Thank you, Dex, so much for having me. I've had a blast, and thank you for reading the book.
No, definitely my pleasure.